Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey here, once again with another video on The Flash Season 5. So each season of The Flash, we meet a new version, or sometimes versions of Harrison Wells from across the multiverse. So in Season 1 we had the original Harrison Wells, or the OG Harrison Wells, and then the Harrison Wells that was actually Eobard Thawne in disguise. And then in Season 2 we had Harry Wells from Earth 2. In Season 3 we had HR Wells show up from Earth 19, I think it was. And then in the last season, that being Season 4, Harry Wells returned to be the main Wells we hung out with, but then we also met many new versions of Harrison Wells through both the Council of Wells as well as the Council of Harrisons. Obviously, the introduction of those last two groups of the Council of Wells and the Harrisons was a bit of a hit and miss with some people, or many people, but the other versions of Harrison Wells on the show from the other seasons were fairly well received from what I saw at least. But seeing that Harry Wells left us last season to return to Earth 2, we will be getting a new regular Wells on the show. But according to Tom Cavanagh, who plays all the different versions of Wells, we won't just be getting one new Wells, we could be seeing more. But I will let Tom explain that for himself, what is going on with Wells this season and all of that. So yeah, take it away, Tom Cavanagh.
So, Wells left from Earth 2.
One of them did, yeah.
Yes. So, what can you tell us? I know probably not much. What can you tell us about the character you're going to be playing in Season 5?
Characters. That was a nice little teaser. I can tell you about one, which we're debuting shortly. As you know, one of the things that we try and do when creating a new character is see what gaps we might be missing and then what we could fill. As Reverse Flash in the first season, we weren't going to do that in the second season, but I thought, you know what, he was like a giant antagonist in Season 1. It would be nice to have a daily antagonist enter Harry, who was like a bit of a jerk, and social graces, didn't have him, kind of mean, but ultimately, good guy, helpful. And then the next season, we thought, we could amp up the comedy a little bit, and that was HR, who Harry hated because he thought he was an idiot. HR thought Harry was the best thing ever. And then this year, we thought, you know what, I wouldn't necessarily it's a combination, but I think there's room for that comedic element as well as room for the intelligence that Harry has. But maybe if the guy, one thing you could rely on was Harry, you could trust him. That he didn't care what anybody thought. He was just going to do what he thought was right. So if we had a guy that could be that with that level of intelligence and maybe not do always what's right or not able to be trusted all the time. So it's a Sherlock Wells character, only with we're trying to put that trope or myth or whatever you want to call it sort of on its ear a little bit. And so it'll be called Sherlock Wells, French. And I like, did you see that? French. I think it's, I don't want to get ahead of myself because maybe you'll see it and judge it and go, that's terrible. But I'm looking forward to doing it.
Great.
Has it been difficult playing so many different versions of one character, or has it been just the best thing?
No, it'd be obnoxious to go I just have to keep them separate, and they have different actors. No, if you're fortunate enough to be on a long-running show, which is like The Flash is, generally you're going to be assigned a character. And what's nice about being on a show that's part of this superhero genre is there aren't kind of no rules. We can just keep. We have a multiverse. We created that idea of the multiverse, and it allows us free reign, me in particular, to get to do character after character. Even as the show is the same, the guys all have the same name, but the character reinvention or invention is something that I've been doing this for almost professionally, anyways, 30 years. Never seen anything like that. For myself to be able to check that box, it's spectacular. It's a real privilege.
Are we going to see you directing this season?
Last question.
Yeah, I'm going to direct the. I guess I should leave with the 100th episode.
Oh, nice!
Yeah,
Congrats.
So, say that after you see it. But I'm very much looking forward to it. My overall rule when directing the show is basically they're all so incredible. They're such good humans, and they're so incredibly talented. And essentially, it's just try not to mess it up. Point the camera at them and get out of the way. So so I'm looking forward to that.
So the new Wells that will be the regular and that we now know the name of is that of Sherlock Wells, which is crazy but awesome at the same time. Sherlock is described as a very intelligent human being who is maybe not to be trusted. So it will be interesting to see why that is, but it is important to remember that Harry from Earth 2 in Season 2 fell into that same sort of category early on in that season. But when it came down to it, that distrust was, well, sort of warranted as Harry was there in order to do some deeds for Zoom. So Harry was actually being a bit shifty. But to go over what Tom said again, this is exactly what was said by him in regards to the character of Sherlock Wells. And so this year, we've got a lot of things that we have to solve. And I thought it'd be nice to have a dynamic where we have someone that we don't necessarily know that we can trust, but is undeniably brilliant, which offers up its own things you have to contend with when you deal with somebody like that. Because much like the Thinker last year, they're a few steps ahead, so we'll see that very early on with this character. We've got some backstory set up which I don't want to spoil for you, but I think that character is going to be fodder for comedy, but also for good storytelling, hopefully. So I'm looking forward to doing it. I guess one big question around this character is whether he will actually dress like Sherlock Holmes or whether it will just be a situation where he is just very similar to the character in regards to his acts, like his actions and stuff like that, and maybe the way he goes about solving things. I'm sure there will be multiple references by Team Flash around this, and it would be pretty funny if we even get like a Robert Downey Jr. or Benedict Cumberbatch joke or reference chucked in there as well, obviously because they've played the character in both the movies as well as the TV series. So Cisco, I'm guessing that is up to you, mate. But like we saw with Harry and how his intellect and genius made him, well, to quote Tom Cavanagh, a jackass, and how the original Harrison Wells is intelligence as well and just his wealth in general allowed Eobard Thawne to achieve his evil schemes in like a much easier fashion. Sherlock Wells' intelligence will put him slightly at odds with the other members of Team Flash. And by that I mean that while everyone might be able to believe everything he's saying about certain topics and just dropping general facts and information, the fact that he may come off as like not the most trustworthy of people might have Team Flash a bit, taken aback by him. Another big thing to think about is whether Sherlock will actually be connected to something fishy that is going on. Like, is he connected to another devious plot by another character on the show? Maybe the villain? Or does he just come off like that way and in reality he's just a good guy? So maybe we'll have to chuck in some hashtag good guy Wells among Twitter and YouTube comments when he finally appears on the show. Obviously, it is going to be fun to watch all of the Team Flash members meet this new Harrison Wells and try to get to know him through whatever means necessary. It does sound that with Sherlock, they'll have to figure out a way in which to balance his book smarts with his street smarts to keep him from getting too far ahead of the game that he's playing. And one would suspect that Cisco will be the key to making all of that happen, like we have seen in basically all the other seasons. Tom Cavanagh, who plays Wells, and Carlos Valdez, who plays Cisco, have probably the best chemistry on the show, so it would be stupid to try and break that up. Like, you want to keep those two characters together at least a decent amount of the time. But as I did say earlier, Tom Cavanagh did hint that we could be getting more than one Wells showing up this season. So of course we have Sherlock, and the obvious answer to this other version of Wells is, or the other versions if you want to call it, is that we could just be getting the Council of Wells or Council of Harrison showing up again. But one version of Wells that many want to see is that of Johnny Quick. So that's being, a speedster version of a proper Harrison Wells from another Earth. So you count out the Eobard Thawne pretending to be a Harrison Wells version. That doesn't count. And personally, when I think about it, I actually think we're actually likely to see this happen this season. I'm not saying we will definitely see it happen. I'm not saying lock it in. But there is a strong chance that we could see it. And that is all thanks to the fact that we have the 100th episode of The Flash this season, which will be episode 8. So wouldn't it be awesome if in that episode they just have a speedster bonanza and have a ridiculous amount of speedsters show up just for one scene or a couple of scenes? So you have Reverse Flash, Zoom, Savitar, Jay Garrick, Jesse Quick, whatever that other Earth 3 speedster is going to be that Jay's training, Wally West, Barry of course, Trajectory, Rival, I think I've listed most of them, just have all of them there. And yes, I know, some of those are dead, but who cares? If you have it in the Speed Force, most likely the spirits and stuff are going to the Speed Force, so they'll be hanging around in there, so they can make it work in that way. Just bring them all in. Just have an awesome scene or multiple scenes with all of these speedsters on screen fighting for a common cause. I'm not saying actually fighting, but working together. Maybe they could be, or that could be to, keep the Speed Force intact or something like that. Maybe something's threatening the existence of the Speed Force. Maybe Nora Allen stuffs something up where they have to, come together to try and fix it or something like that. I don't think I'm the only one that would just want something ridiculous like that to happen, because it would just be amazing, and it would not only bring back some fan favorites, but also possibly introduce some new speedsters, like a Harrison Wells, Johnny Quick type of thing. I know in the comics, they recently had a big thing where basically all the different Flashes showed up and a lot of people liked it, so why not do that in the Flash show with the, the big milestone 100th episode? Like, I think it's a no-brainer, and I think it'd be awesome. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show your support. Let me know in the comments section down below your various thoughts. Are you excited for this new version of Wells? Do you like the idea of Sherlock Wells? And what do you think about, a Johnny Quick type speedster version of Wells coming in? Even if it's just for that 100th episode and something cool like that, just leave all of your differing opinions in the comments section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.